Oh Lord. So lucky for that. As soon as I hit that button, I drank that water and it went down the wrong pipe. God.
Terrible.
Yeah, man. Hold on. I can't even hear without you. What is going on here? You without you say something real quick.
Shalom, Israel. Shalom. How y'all doing, family?
Hold up.
Yachty wild for that. That's right. That's right. This man is
Yo,
wild.
can you hear me?
God, you coming in loud and clear.
Okay, kind of. I guess I don't know what's up with my computer. My stuff just went straight through my focus right. That's weird. Yeah, but y'all like, oh wait. I'll be remiss to not do this, man. First and foremost, I want to say call hello Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, man. Right, and I want to jump straight into this, man. Unless Matati has something he wants to say.
Shalom, family. Long time no see. Right. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and share. And fasten your seatbelts, man. We got some topics to go into, man. If you're new to the channel, smash that like button. It's for the free. It's no effort. It's no charge to you. You know, you just press that little button, and you know, if you want to subscribe, make sure you hit that bell button. All right, you know, get this edification. All right, and for those that are in this thing, has been in this thing, make sure you choose edification over entertainment.
That part, you know, a lot of Israelites out here be lying, talking about y'all just trying to entertain people. Y'all don't try to edify people. I mean, y'all don't click on the edification. Let's be honest, you don't click on it. Well, if we had a topic talking about this is how you make your life better, it'd be like 2 viewers in here. Let's be honest, right? That's how Israel be. You want to choose edification. You want to learn something. You want to be built up, right? That's what we're gonna be doing in the second half of this, because you know I just wanted to touch on something real quick, man, because mean Jim Green is up to it again, bro. Right? You know what we always say, Mathathia, how many times we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? I do love the Israelites.
He's back at it again, right? This time he had the he had the gall to tag us in a video where he supposedly right, showing salvation for all nations. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to go through piece by piece in this video, right? But I want to just touch on the topics that he says in this video, because this happens every time we talk about these Christian apologists, right? We have a little beef with them. It gets too hot for them, and then they start crying to YouTube, right? So what I'm gonna do is not do that specifically, but hit on the pieces that I could stomach as far as his breakdown that he gave, right? And I want to show you. I want to show y'all what he's done, right? Let me see if I can present this. Right, there you go. He's done it again. Like, as you can see in the title, is gospel of all nations, question mark. All right, that's hilarious. But you see he's tagged, you see the third tag he has in there, SICARRI Dallas, right? This man continues, also Tawada Tanya Herod, for your continued support to the channel, right? But this man has continually been outside of his league, commenting on different things. Somebody makes a video about us, here he comes. He hasn't ever to run his mouth, but every time I tell him, hey, why don't you just show up? Let's have a conversation. Let's have a debate about these topics. We never hear anything back from him, right? Even in this, he posted this. I woke up in the morning, got the notification, right? Says somebody has tagged you in the video, and like, here it is. Here he's doing this thing. So I'll put it right here. Let me zoom in so you can see. Let me see. Is that zoomed in? Right. I said, don't tag us until you want the smoke. Stop ducking the debate, because it's real easy to sit behind the PC and talk. It's another thing to contend for the faith, right? And instead of making any response to that, he answers his own question he wants to answer. I didn't think you would have a biblical response to the video, and I was right. Keep reading, brother. Right? I said, that's cool. I'll have a biblical response to it tomorrow when I go live. Right? And it just says, good luck. And so here we are now. Right? Here we are now with mean Jim Green doing it again, lying on the Bible like all these Christian apologists always do. And right, always want to come up against us because we said their friend, like I say all the time, their friend Brody, their friend Cody, Maximilian, right? Who else? What's another name, Matatia? Becky, Rachel,
Garrett, Brad,
Garrett, Bradley, right? Since we say they can't have salvation, since we teach against the rhetoric and dogma that's been
Velma's a little out there.
You said what?
No, I said I was gonna say Velma, but Velma's a little out there. She cool.
Nah, that's a lot. Ever since what they did on HBO, we don't speak of that name. God. But since we teach salvation
I don't believe in that, Velma.
Yeah, we don't. It's not canon, right? Since just like Dragon Ball, but that's another stuff. That's another story, right?
Don't even start that until we start an anime podcast. We can't speak about these things here. We can't.
Look, we need to work on it. But here's the thing, right? Since we say that salvation isn't for the lesser melanated people, right? For YouTube reasons, I'm trying to be very tactful for this because I would like a conversation with our buddy Jim right here, man. I would love to have an actual conversation about the Bible, the things we disagree with. The things that we can actually build off of, right? I would love to have a conversation instead of making videos back and forth. I'm not about to do that because, you know, I mean, we have 13, we're about to be 14,000 subs. This guy's got 700, bro. But for some reason, I always have something to say, right? So I want to touch on a few topics, and I don't want y'all to have to suffer this whole video because, like, as far as a 2-hour-long video, because the things that I heard in there, right, is atrocious. They want to talk about our exegesis. They want to talk about us eisegeting scriptures. Apparently, he wants to talk about us not keeping the law since we hate the Edomites. Apparently, right? And wants to talk about all these things. So, and the first thing he harps on, one of the first things is the sojourner, right? He immediately talks about you don't see an Israelite sojourner. He finds every scripture. He went to Blue Letter Bible app, typed in freaking sojourner, found every scripture and said, see, it says one law for the sojourner and one law for the Israelites. And he started off, I believe it was in Exodus 12 with the Passover, which is hilarious to me. Absolutely hilarious. Right? Let's go to that. Let's go to that real quick. Let's get some edification. In context, let's be in context with SICARRI Dallas. Right, this guy's called In Context with Jim Green. Let's be in context with SICARRI Dallas. Right, let's do that.
That's right.
We need to rename his name to Out of Context with Jim Green. But let me do this. Which one is Revelation 12? There we go. That's the file. I need 2 monitors, man. I need 2 monitors. Exodus 12, right? He conveniently only read 48 and then 49, right? I'm gonna read it and I'm gonna stop it to the part where he started to try to exegete it, right? So Exodus 12 verse 48, it says, "And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee and will keep the Passover to the Lord, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it, and he shall be as one that is born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. One law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth with you." Right? So this is the point he was trying to make about how there's one law, the law that we have in the like what they call the Old Testament, right? It's applicable to not only the Israelites, but people who want to come and join in on Israelites, or AKA the sojourner, because to him, a sojourner is not an Israelite, right? And I meant to do this a minute ago, right? I completely forgot. while we're here, fair use, right? For purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. That's all we're doing today. Like, we're just trying to educate. We're trying to criticize, trying to teach, show some scholarship, and educate some people, man. And this is for research purposes only, right? But I digress. What he was saying in this, what he was trying to say in the scripture, what he's trying to read into the scripture is that the law that was given and that the Israelites were enjoined unto is open to everybody, especially the people who come and sojourn with Israel. That's what he was trying to make off here. So let's see if that works. Let's see if that actually no, let's run it back one more time, right? Because he said there's no such thing as an Israelite sojourner. So let's get Leviticus, and we're going to come right back to this. Get Leviticus chapter 25. Right? And this is another reason why I didn't want to just go through the whole video, because he propped everything up and started off with the sojourner, right? Y'all can go back and watch it. Give this man a few views. I mean, we're going to throw him some bones, right? He wanted his 15 minutes of fame, so now he's getting it, right?
Don't forget those thumbs down, man.
Yeah, that too, down. Right? Allegedly, right? So what ended up, he made a point of saying there's no such thing as an Israelite sojourner or stranger. So let's read Leviticus chapter 25, verse 35. And if thy brother, we know your brother is who? An Israelite. That's Leviticus 19, 17 through 18. That's clear. Even a biblical scholar will admit the brother right here is an Israelite. So and if thy brother be waxen poor and fallen in decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him, yea, though he be a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with thee. So how is there not an Israelite sojourner, or how can we say that there? How can you say that there is no reference to Israelites being sojourners when you see in Leviticus chapter 25, verse 35, your brother, a fellow Israelite, can be a stranger and a sojourner? We see it right here. And that word, when you look at it for stranger in the Hebrew, is gar. We see it right here, H16:16. Now, that's going to play a vital role when we go to explain Exodus chapter 12. So let's go back to Exodus chapter 12. All right, it says, when a stranger shall sojourn with thee and will keep the Passover to the Lord, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it, and he shall be as one that is born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. Right? So it says a stranger. He's contending that this is a non-Israelite. So let's look at the Hebrew word for stranger right here. Oh, look at that. Coincidentally enough, it's H16:16. The same word which we see is translated into brother from the Hebrew in Leviticus chapter 25, verse 35. So I'm going to contend, if I want to be somebody who rightly divides the word of God in truth and sincerity, I'm going to contend that this stranger right here has to be an Israelite, or AKA an Israelite stranger or sojourner. And the reason why I would come to that conclusion is because when we go back to Exodus chapter 12, jump all the way up to verse 43, Exodus 12, verse 43, it says, and the Lord said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover, there shall no stranger eat thereof. So if we're going to read it like how Christians read it, we're not going to deal with the words. We're not going to deal with anything. We're not going to deal with anything as far as true scholarship, right? We're going to just read stranger and just mean, oh, it's a non-Israelite. We're going to have a problem with Exodus chapter 12, the whole chapter, right? Because it says later in the chapter, in verse 48, it says a stranger can eat of the Passover, but before it says a stranger can't eat of the Passover, right? So now we're gonna have to figure out, okay, is God contradicting himself? Because this is the word of the Lord. That's why it says, and the Lord said unto Moses. So is God contradicting himself? We know that's not true, because God is not the author of confusion, right? So let's see if this is the same Hebrew word in verse 48 talking about talking about a stranger who can't eat of the Passover, right? Exodus 12, verse 43. Let's look at that word for stranger, right? It says Nakar. It's talking about Ben Nakar, a son of a stranger. This is not the same word. This word is specifically for a non-Israelite. We see this. You also see an example of it being used in what is this? Isaiah 56, right? Which he also goes to. But Isaiah 56 right here, it says, neither, Isaiah 56, verse 3, neither let the son of a stranger, Ben Nakar, right? The word is different from Gar, which is an Israelite. It says, neither let the son of the stranger that have joined himself to the Lord speak, saying, the Lord have utterly separated me from his people. Neither let the eunuch say, behold, I am a dry tree. So what we can learn from this scripture right here in Isaiah 56 is that this word Ben Nakar has to be a non-Israelite, because it says the Lord right here. It says the Lord have utterly separated me from his people, giving you a just opposition between the Lord's people and this stranger. So this stranger has to be a non-Israelite. So we see this word being used for non-Israelites, and we also see in Exodus chapter 12 this word being used for somebody who can't eat of the Passover. So what conclusion can we come to by looking at all this and rightly dividing the word and being scholars and looking at the Hebrew, right? Is that the stranger right here who can't eat of the Passover, right? The verse he conveniently didn't read, which is funny because his name is called Jim Green. And in context with Jim Green, if you would have read it in context, you would have had a problem with your exegesis. What we can understand about verse 43 is, and the Lord said unto Moses, this is the ordinance of the Passover, there shall no stranger eat thereof. This stranger is a heathen. And the verse 48, where it says a stranger who can eat of the Passover, it's a gar, right? Means somebody who is an Israelite, who was probably not born in the land or separated, but they still are descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's why they can be circumcised and keep the Passover. Why? Because non-Israelites can't keep the Passover. That's how you understand Bible verses. That's how you use hermeneutics when you want to accuse us of not using hermeneutics. That's crazy, right? So that right there, just when the was that 10 or 15 minutes, that cuts everything he's going to say for the first hour of his breakdown, of his video. So for us to sit there and watch through all that, it'd be a waste of time when we can just dispel it right here and now. But Doctor, you gonna say something? I saw you unmuted.
Oh, no. I was taking care of my dogs. That's why I went mute.
Good. Right. So then another point he wants to make, because I want you to get to your lesson with that, because I want to talk about that. Honestly, this kind of blends into your lesson, which is funny.
Oh, it really does. It really does. And the reason why I say that is, for any so-called Black, Hispanic, or Native that knows about Israelites and teaches against Israelites or the actual doctrine of the Bible, not quote unquote Israelite, not quote unquote camp doctrine, but what the Bible talks about, you truly hate God. You do not love God. You dislike God. You're mad at God. You're angry at God. You have all this animosity against the Most High God, the Abanawa Yahweh, when you do such things. And the Lord's going to make you look foolish every single time. Why? Because he's like that. And he's going to do it so his name can be exalted. That's all I got to say on that.
That part, right? And like I said before, right? It didn't even have to come to this. We could have had a conversation about it. We could have talked about it, but you want to continue to make videos. You want to tag us in them. You want to make community posts and tag us in it. You want to say things about Hebrew Israelites. And when we want to have a conversation with you, instead of being in the spirit of Christ and actually trying to reason with your brother, now look at where we are, man. Now we have to do this to you, right? For the second time, because you already got caught lying on Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68, talking about that's not talking about slave ships and the transatlantic slave trade. You already got demolished in that, but now here we are again, right? So his next point he wanted to make, right? He talked about the promise, like the Abrahamic promise, Abrahamic covenant, right? Now, when you look at Genesis chapter 12, because the point he wants to try to make is that this is talking about all people can take hold of this promise or be a part of this promise, right? Especially when it talks about he's going to make of him many nations of people, make of Abraham and his wife many nations out of them, right? He say, oh, see, that's about many nations, so many nations could get it. But that doesn't make any sense, because you see the people who came out of Abraham. You got the Ishmaelites, you got the Israelites, Midianites, other people who made great nations, right? But only one of those nations God cares about. That's the thing. Yeah, out of Abraham came many nations, but what did it say in Genesis and in Romans 9 and about Isaac's seed shall be called? Who's Isaac's seed? Jacob. Who comes out of Jacob? The Israelites. So who is this promise given to? The Israelites. Not of seeds of many, but to thy seed, which is who? Israel. Who came out of Israel? Hamashiach Yahushua, who y'all call Jesus Christ, right? But going back into this promise, let's just read this. It says, Genesis 12, verse 1, it says, now the Lord had said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto a land that I will show thee, and I will make of thee a great nation. That's singular. I will make of you a great nation. Christian scholars, people who are wiser than you, right? PhD scholars, right? They will literally say that this is talking about Israel. And you just reading this and having just an inkling of what the Bible says, like just knowing a little bit, you know who this is talking about. Even in Acts, I believe this is quoted again in reference to the Israelites. It says, I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing, right? And I will bless them that bless thee, right? So who is the thee right here? It's going into his people, well, really him too, but his people as well, right? Which is the Israelites. And so I will bless them that bless thee, and and curse him that curseth thee, and in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. That doesn't mean they're now going to be a part of the promise. That blessing that they're going to get is, you know what their blessing is going to be? Us ruling in righteousness, them coming to our temple, them grabbing the skirt of us because God is with us, serving our power the right way, because the way y'all try to interpret the Bible and give to people like me and Jim Green, right? That y'all's exegesis is incredibly wrong. It doesn't make much sense. And all that leads to is just Satanism and being a good slave, right? We're going to give y'all that true life and that true understanding when it's been given unto us, when we get enjoined to God again with that refreshed covenant, that new covenant, when the Lord puts the Spirit upon us and in our minds, so we walk after the laws instinctively.
That's right.
That's what y'all need. That's how the whole world is going to be blessed. And you see that that's not just me saying that. You see that through the prophecies like Ezekiel 34. I made a status about this. Like there's no way you can read Ezekiel 34 through 30, Ezekiel 34 through 40 and say salvation is open to everybody. Because all of that is showing you what's going to happen when his people are saved, brought back to their land, Spirit gets put upon them, they get to walk in the laws. The other nations are at the bottom, right? In comparison, there's a great gulf fixed between them, right? They're going to rule in righteousness. The Levitical order is going to get set back up. All these things are going to happen, right? There's no way you can see that and say salvation's for everybody. That's the promise. That's this promise being fulfilled right here.
That's right.
When we get to verse 4, it says, so Abraham departed as the Lord had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him, and Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And Abram took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran, and they went forth to go into the land of Canaan, and the land of into the land of Canaan they came, and Abram passed through the land unto the place of Shishim, unto the plain of Moreh, and the Canaanite was then in the land, right? Now, when you go all the way down into this, right, it goes into Israel being a blessing. Those people who curse us, those people who curse us are going to be cursed, and then us in totality get that land, and us being saved from our saved from our enemies and all that, all the hand of the people who hated us, right? We're going to get all those precepts following this, right? You see it being specifically exclusive towards his descendants. This isn't for everybody else. If we just read it for what it says instead of having dogmatic eyes, right? It's clear. It's very clear. And the point that I wanted to make off of this is us reading this promise and then going to what they call the quote unquote New Testament. Paul, even after Christ's death, knew the same exact things that we're trying to say and taught the same exact things. Because when you read this, Acts 26, verse 6, and now I stand and am judged for the people, for the hope of the promise made of God unto our fathers. I didn't say everybody's fathers, because Paul's talking to a non-Israelite. He's making a possessive, our fathers, right? Unto which promise our 12 tribes, instantly serving God day and night, hope to come, for which hope's sake, King Agrippa, I am accused of the Jews. So even after Christ's death, this is Acts, this is sometime after Christ's death, right? Even after all that, Paul is still attributing the promise of Abraham, that oath, the oath that he swore to Abraham and his descendants, he's still attributing that to the same people it was originally sent to. So it doesn't change. And then it gets worse when you look at the epistle he writes after this, after Christ's death, and after him being sent to our people in Asia Minor, freaking Turkey, all these places that they were located in. But as far as the epistle to the Romans, because they want to laugh at us, he said, like, oh, the next you're going to say the Romans are Israelites. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say so, because if you look at the context of Rome, matter of fact, we brought this out in that lesson the other day, Romans 4. Right? I think the NIV is better. Which one is it? I think it might be the NIV. No, I think it's the NLT. No, really the GNT was better, but I don't think they have it on here. Yeah, they don't have it on here, right? But I'm just reading the NLT. It says Romans 4:1. It says Abraham was humanly speaking, not no, you can now be circumcised and now you're Israelite. No, right? He's talking about physical descendants, right? It says Abraham was, humanly speaking, the founder of our Jewish nation. What did he discover about being made right with God, right? And this is going into faith and XYZ, right? But we see him attributing the people who he's writing to and him as being humanly or through the flesh, right? Descendants of Abraham, right? The descendants of Abraham who are chosen. And it's going to be proven. It's going to be proven when you go to Romans 9. Matter of fact, Slacky, I got to get one more. Romans 1 verse 7. And it says, I'm writing to all of you. So it's telling you, because we're not saying everybody in Rome are Israelites. Paul even clarifies it in the beginning of his letter. It says, I'm writing to all of you in Rome who are loved by God and are called to be his own holy people. May God, our Father, and the Lord of Mashiach Yahushua, right, give you grace and peace. So that lets you know who he's talking to. The only people who've been loved of God in the Bible are Israelites. That's Deuteronomy 7. That's multiple places in Kings. That's multiple places in Samuel. That's multiple places in the Bible just in general, right? That's not everybody. The only way you can try to even make this, everybody, is that you have to then lie on John through 16, which is funny because we just talked about that last week. So nice try, right? But if you want to say screw all that, let's go back to the original point. Romans chapter 9, verse 4. Let's see. I've never read it. I don't think I've read this in NLT. Let's see what it says. Romans 9, verse 4. It says, they are the children of Israel, chosen to be God's adopted children. God revealed his glory to them. He made covenants with them and gave them his law. He gave them the privilege of worshiping him and receiving his wonderful promises. But how can this book be attributed to anybody else outside of Israel? Like, that's correct. He gave the Israelites by name the privilege of worshiping him. Nobody else was given that, and I would like to see it. If it was anywhere else, bro, as far as like God, I mean Yahweh. If Yahweh showed himself to him and showed himself to other people and gave them the privilege to worship him, as far as the laws, as far as his will, I would love to see it, right? Because the Bible says contrary to that. But it follows it up in the very end of that sentence, receiving his wonderful promises. What are those promises? The Abrahamic promises, the oath which he swore to Abraham, right? It says Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are their ancestors, and Christ himself was an Israelite as far as his human nature is concerned. He is God. Oh my God, here he goes. See, then now that here comes the NLT. Here comes the NLT freaking doing it again, right? But it says he is God. That's not a factual statement, right? He's not. When they mean God right here, this is one of these instances where you see in the later translations, like the NLT, the CEB, sometimes NIV, right, where they creep in a little bit of that Christian influence, right, as far as things like the Trinity, oneness, modalism. They creep that in as far as their translations. That's why we can't say that there's a perfect translation. Because, I mean, we can double back to the KJV. I'm going to do that anyway, right? Because I just don't like that. That kind of bothered me. We can double back to the KJV, right? But the KJV, even in that, has problems, namely Easter, right? Because we know Easter is a pagan holiday, and neither was it commanded for anybody to keep that day, right? To be part of the rituals of egg hunting and following a rabbit. Like, that's not a biblical thing. So if that's in the KJV, where that's problematic, we can find something like a problem with every single translation. But the NIV, the NLT, right there, that bothered me. We're gonna read this in the KJV, right? Where it says, verse 5, it says, whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Christ came, who is God over all, God blessed forever. Amen. So even after that, Paul is saying Christ came for the Israelites, the same people who get all these things. And we haven't brought this out in a minute, right? Going into the word adoption right here, right? It's used. I just want to show this real quick. This isn't even part of what I wanted to go into, but it's used to show. It says the relationship which God was pleased to establish between himself and the Israelites in preference to all other nations. So even in the New Testament, like what y'all call the New Testament, man, right? It's still saying that the Lord was pleased to establish his relationship between Israel in preference to all other nations, right? So going back into this, right? And what Laurel said, fair use, right? Let me do this one more time for you to say. Yeah, fair use, right? This is for educational and research purposes and cutting purposes, right? And like I said before, it's still open if you want to have the debate, if you want to have a dialogue, right? It's open. You can come in, we shoot you the link, we can have the conversation, right? And we can talk about the Bible, the book you say you believe in. So even Paul knows this. But jumping to verse 7, it says, neither, because they are the seed of Abraham, are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called. So when he was trying to make a big deal, if y'all watch the video, I mean, I'm trying to save y'all. I'm saving y'all the misery of that, right? Because I wasted a good 30 minutes of my life earlier, right? he made a big deal about the many nations coming out of Abraham. The only nation that matters is the children of Israel. In verse 4, verse 5, and verse 7 is neither, because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called, or chosen. That is, they which are the children of the flesh, these are not the children of God, but the children of the promise are counted for the seed. We already read the promise and who it's for. So that negates everything you've said. It negates everything you've said in the first hour and a half of your video. This just negates all of that, right? Instead of boring my viewers, what we're gonna do is we're gonna educate our viewers. Fair use, man. All right. Now Luke chapter 1, we can seal this point right here. Now, Hebrew Israelites always go to Zechariah's prophecy right here. But the one thing a lot of Hebrew Israelites do, which I don't do, ever since I found this, we're reading it all the way to this point. They stop before it concludes a very, very substantial point. Let's read this real quick. Zechariah. This is Luke 1, verse 67. It says, and his father Zacharias was filled with the Holy Ghost and prophesied, saying, blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he has visited and redeemed his people. Right? I mean, that right there just showed you Christ only died for Israel, because look who he's redeeming. Verse 69, and hath raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us. Right? Now, a lot of Hebrew Israelites will stop right there. Right? Stop right at verse, what is that? 71. But it makes us a very substantial point in the next verse. It says, to perform the mercy promised to our fathers and to remember his holy covenant, the oath which he swore to our father Abraham. So Christ visiting his people, right? The Lord visiting his people by sending his son, having him die and redeem them, and then taking them away from the oppressors and all the people who's hated them, right? That's showing you right here that that's fulfilling the oath which he swore to Abraham. So if you're going to make any point in Genesis and talk about how now this is for everybody, you're going to have a problem, because in the very first chapter of Luke, in what you call the New Testament, that contradicts that heavily. And you have an even bigger problem, because the Holy Spirit says that the Holy Spirit came upon Zacharias to prophesy that. And everything Zacharias is saying right here through what the Holy Spirit is saying through Zacharias is backed up by the prophets. That's why it says, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, because you see in Jeremiah, see in Ezekiel, Isaiah, and all the major and minor prophets about how Israel is going to be saved and delivered from their people, and the enemies who had them in captivity are destroyed, and the Israelites are going to rule over them. The Bible teaches that. That's Isaiah 14, right? Easy. Isaiah 60, Isaiah 61, easy. But the point I wanted to prove right here is all that is the Lord performing his oath, which he promised unto us. So this is just uppercuts, man. That's why I call this video out of his league Christian calls us out, because you're out of your league. You're looking like Spence. And I hate that had to happen to that Texan, right? I hate that had to happen, but it just had to happen so he could be used as an example right here in this moment, right? I'm just being an asshole. But
let that man live, bro.
He'll get him in a rematch, man. This is gonna make a trilogy. You heard it here first. So, and this is the last point that he made. Well, the last point I'm going to talk about, because after this he filibusters on Paul's writings like they always do. I got too many breakdowns on Paul's writings to even. I got too much on that. So what he does is he tries to exegete places in the prophets, namely Isaiah 19, Isaiah 2, and Isaiah 60. And I don't understand why you would ever go to any of those, right? Because he goes to Isaiah chapter 2, and this boy, Matati, he went to Isaiah 60 by himself. Nobody asked him to. He went to Isaiah 60 by himself.
I want to see him do it. I want to see him do it. I gotta see this. Man, look, bro, I gotta see it.
I want to share it, but bro, every time this happens, the heat gets way too much for these Christians. They be crying to YouTube, and then it's a problem.
All right. He can't cry to YouTube on TikTok. That's all I'm saying about that.
He said, when we're all straight, right, and we're in good standing. If you know what that means, we're in good standing with our oppressors at YouTube. Then we'll be able to go full force in these Christians again. But as of right now, we got to take it a little easy. But he goes here, right? Isaiah 2:2. It says, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow into it. See, so it was originally God's plan to save everybody because all nations are going to come to the house of the Lord. Like that. Oh my God. Like that in itself, there's a lot of problems. It's a lot of things he doesn't get, right? There's a lot of things Jim doesn't get. It's viewership, subscribers, and respect. And that's a lot of these things he doesn't get, right? And the fourth thing he doesn't, and the fourth thing, and my heart was sore displeased in, is that he doesn't get this damn chapter, right? That's what he doesn't get. He's saying, see, all nations are going to come. We're all going to be equivalent. But in this chapter, in verse 2, it says the house, the mountain of the Lord's house. What is the mountain of the Lord's house? If the other hills are nations, what is this mountain? This mountain is Israel. It's literally, the mountain is Israel, which the Lord's temple resides at. This shows you that it's going to be a hierarchy in the eschaton or in the end times. We're not one of the Israelites who will say these other nations, oh, this is all Israel. No, we're not saying that. All the rest of the nations are going to come serve our God. We read this in the book. We're not about to now deny that. That's crazy. We don't teach that. But what we are saying is there's going to be a hierarchy because God's going to be with us. That's why it calls it a mountain of the Lord's house versus these hills. There's going to be a great gulf fixed like it has in the parable of Lazarus between us and the Edomites and us and the rest of the Goyim, the Goyim, man, all of them, all these Gentiles and heathens. We're going to be above them. It's the thing. It's this word that y'all need to, these Christians need to look up. It's called hegemony, right? We're going to be the hegemony of the world. That's what's happening right here. When we're the hegemony of the world, all the rest of the nations are going to come to us. And this is why I believe, don't quote me on this, I believe he stopped it too. But when you read verse 3, it says, and many people shall go and say, come ye and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths, for out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Now you have a lot of problems right here. If you're a Christian, this is cutting a lot of dogma, right? If everybody's equivalent in the kingdom of heaven, everybody who's going to be there, if they're all equivalent, why does it say the law is going to go forth out of Zion? Why is it not going forth out of the Gentiles? Why can't the Gentiles be a light to the Gentiles? Why are we a light to the Gentiles? Why are we the place where everybody has to come? It's because we are the hegemony. This in itself, if you read it with logic and without dogmatic eyes, without these frames, right, of dogma, which from what your oppressor gave you, If you read it without that, you can clearly see that there's a hegemony, there's a difference, there's a hierarchy in the kingdom of heaven in this chapter. And matter of fact, what proves it is the fact that the rest of the nations, verse 4, it says, and he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. So the Lord's going to be in control of that, and his people is going to be in control of that. If everybody's equivalent, how do the Israelites and their power, Yahweh, right? How do they have power over the nations to stop war from happening? That doesn't make sense. There's a definite hierarchy. That's why when you see, let's go to some more precepts. Let's go to Zechariah. That's why you see passages like this. Zechariah 8, verse 23. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of all languages of the nations, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is a Jew, saying, we will go with you, for we have heard that God is with you. Why is he not with the heathen? Why is he not with the heathen? Like this is a question you have to answer. If you're going to believe everybody's equivalent, everybody, like the people who's going to come to the temple is now equivalent with God's people, right? Why do they have to now grab our skirts, like the end of our garments, to follow after us if God is with them? why would they have to do that? Like these are things showing you that there's a hierarchy. Even in what we brought out the other day in Joel chapter 2, 27. Let's bring out Joel 2 and 27 again. Right, it says, and ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your God, and none else, and my people shall never be ashamed. Where is the Lord dwelling? Where is his tabernacle at? With us and nobody else. He's our power, and nobody and no other power will be our power. This is when we're in righteousness, right? This is when we have that new covenant. Ezekiel 37, my favorite chapter. Ezekiel 37, 27 through 28. My tabernacle also shall be with them. Yea, I will be their God, and they shall be my people. And the heathen shall know that I, the Lord, do sanctify Israel, when my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forevermore. So that right there shows you a hierarchy, shows you a juxtaposition from the way that the Lord deals with us versus the heathen. So that doesn't make no sense with this whole see, all nations are going to come to the temple. They're all going to serve God. So it was God's plan. Like you gotta stop. You gotta stop smoking that crack cocaine, bro. Like you have to just take the pipe, put the pipe down, step on the pipe, just get in class, bro. That's what you got to do. Get in class. We'll send you the courses. We'll get you set up, man. we'll get you set up. We'll get you to 12 tribes sign. You got to do the work, man.
That's right.
One more for good measure. Isaiah 61 verse 9. Right? It says, and their seed shall be known among the Gentiles, and their offspring among the people. All that see them shall acknowledge them, that they are the seed which the Lord have blessed. Right? That's what the blessing looks like in Genesis chapter 12. That's for us. And we're going to be blessing y'all by allowing y'all to come to our temple so you can know. Matter of fact, come to our temple and give the Lord some food. That's what you can do, right? That's what you can. That's what you do. Come to the temple. You don't get to go in. You don't get to do none of that stuff. You bring some food, right? We'll show you how to clip on your fringes. We'll show you how to not eat this pork, right? We'll show you how to do those things. And then you know what you can do? You can scram. That's what you can do, right? Before we put usury on you. That's what you can do. So Last point, real fast, right? I just want to just touch on it real fast. Like that whole Isaiah 60 thing. We do it all the time. Right? He went here, and I don't know why a Christian would ever go here to prove any point whatsoever. Right? Isaiah 60, verse 1, it says, "Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. For behold, darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people, but the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee." And matter of fact, who is the thee? Israel. Because he went to before he went to Isaiah 60 and committed seppuku, right? Before he went there, he read Isaiah chapter 42, verse, I think it's verse 6, where it says, "I've set thee for a light to the Gentiles," right? So he went here to try to prove that just means Christ saving everybody. You know, the Christian hopscotch. They want to call what we do, like we're going precept on precept in context, right? Instead of out of context with Jim Green, right? I'm calling what y'all do Christian hopscotch, man. The Christian crisscross, man. That's what we need to call it. The Christian crisscross. That's what y'all do. That's what y'all do with the scripture. Oh shit. But it's verse 3, it says, "And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and kings to thy brightness of thy rising." Right? So if we're all equivalent, if we're all equivalent in the kingdom of heaven, why can't the Gentiles be a light? Why is it now? Well, like if you sit back and think about it, right? Because when I did watch this, right, you see prophecies like in Isaiah 60 about how the Israelites are going to be lights into the world, right, in the future. But Christians, they don't agree with damn near any of what the so-called small hat. Well, I'm gonna say it's not so-called. The small hats believe in. They don't believe in any of their prophecies. They don't believe in none of that. They have their own understanding, and they believe that it's better than those people who they assume are God's people, right? What prophecy is it that now you Gentiles, you heathen, are now going to be lights unto the children of God? I think I'll wait. Like, show me that prophecy right there. I'd love to see it. Like it just, that's one of those things where you have to really realize what y'all believe in is it's like when you
a bunch of malarkey.
No, let me cook real quick. It's like when you have a dog, right? You know when your dog takes a big fat poop, like on the grass, you pick it up. What y'all do? That's y'all's doctrine. Y'all stick it in the microwave, you nuke the fuck out of it, and then you start throwing it at people. That's what y'all believe in. It's heated up. It's heated up dog shit. That's what it is. and you want to now be mad at me for not wanting to get that on me, right? I don't want to be walking around with heated up dog shit. That's what y'all believe in. That's the only way. That's the only way to accurately describe what y'all believe in, right? But to cut that real fast. Shoot, I forgot. I shouldn't be cousin because that's one of those things where if you look on his channel, he had a video about Chief a few days ago. They don't have no chopper transformation. They're cursing and doing all that. They spent all this time trying to cut what Chief's talking about, but the only thing they could have possibly have said is he's saying curse words. I'm offended. You said shit.
That was an effeminate Christian, man. If you didn't see that video, go watch it. It's on Stain Raiment. Shout out to Stain Raiment, right? And it's on the channel. And as well as shout out to SICARRI San Francisco doing mighty works in the Bay, man. Mighty works.
That's right, man. They got to navigate all them car robberies they be having up there, man.
Hey, man, look, I done held camp out there. It get real out there in the Bay, man. It's real in field. And if you ain't subscribed to SICARRI San Francisco, then what are you doing? What are you doing? You're messing up, man. You're missing out. You're hindering your edification.
That's right. But he not only did that Christian do that same thing, he did that same thing in this video. Let me see if I can find it. Let me do this. Right. See, stop screen. Let's see. Let's go back to this guy.
Fair use in the chat. Fair use.
I'll put it right here real quick. Fair use, right? We're examining this man's channel for education and research purposes, right? And news reporting news.
And
right?
criticism.
And
scholarship. Actual scholarship.
Actual scholarship. But where is it at? It's this one. Where is it at? Did he take it down? Yeah, this one right here, SICARRI video review, right? GUERRILLA Hebrew was dishonest with the text, dishonest with the scriptures. The only thing you could really even say, because he had that, well, you know what's funny? You want to talk about dishonest with the text? You see that guy on the right?
God, the Seth Rogen looking dude?
Yeah, that dude, Deacon already exposed him. Well, he didn't even have to expose him, but that's Acts 17 apologetics on YouTube, right? That dude has cross-dressing. He has cross-dressing videos. And what I mean by Deacon didn't have to expose him, he uploaded those himself onto his channel to make fun of something. Oh, to make fun of Islam, I believe. Right? So in Christianity, right? And I gotta really word this carefully because of YouTube quote unquote guidelines, right? In Christianity, it's horrible to say words like shit. But it's okay to have somebody who cross-dresses on your channel to talk about somebody saying salvation is only for Black, Hispanics, Native Americans. That's where we are in 2023.
I believe the phrase you're looking for is something along the lines of the pot calling the kettle black.
Yeah. Hypocrisy. That's why I put that in the background. They hate God and they're hypocrites. They're hypocrites. But that's enough. He got his 15 minutes of fame, man. I hope it was worth it, right? So, and like I said before, if you feel like God is with you, right? If you feel like you have a better exegesis of the text than us lowly blacks, like some of us are dropouts. I have a degree, right, and in computer science, right? I'm not a dropout, but I mean we have other people who are dropouts, but. Like I digress, right? If you feel like you have a better exegesis than us, right? You think you know the text better than us, you can reach out. We can set up a debate. Right? I can send you the link. You can come on right now if you're in the chat. We can just drop the link in. We can have a talk about the Bible. Well, I don't gotta call names. I ain't gonna do all that. I don't think I really called you anything horrible today. Like I mean, we're Black people. You know how we do, right? But like I was saying, if you want to come on the channel and we can talk about it, because I'm not going to no channel with no damn 700 subscribers. I'll tell you what's not happening is that. It's fucking that, right? But you can come on here anytime. We can talk about the Bible. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. But go ahead, Matati. Go into your lesson about these Negroes.
God. Wait, we're not gonna watch any of the clip just showing his page?
Which one? Oh no.
Oh, okay, come.
No, I'm not in the best standing with YouTube.
Well, since you have your shared screen up, if you wouldn't mind, of course, pulling precepts you pull, and as well as I got a couple here. You know what I'm saying? Nothing too exaggerated. Just going to something real quick because we see it every day, and like we mentioned earlier, our brothers and sisters who are lost in the sauce of Christianity, right? They got a problem with God. Right? And what do I mean by that? They love their slave master, but they truly do hate God, right? They want the Most High to be this all-loving, all-accepting genie in a bottle, grant my wishes and let me treat you any type of way and curse you out when I feel like you do me wrong. That's how our people view God, man. Right? Last Friday, me and some powerful soldiers. Shout out to Soldier Kanayak. Shout out to Soldier Gazam. Right, we went out, to downtown Fort Worth, in front of Texas Republic, doing our thing. Yeah, there's a brother came up. Soldier Kanayak. He was chopping it up with brother, and he said something that was very alarming to me. Right, this man said, "Well, if God is a murderer and he kills people, why would I want to follow that? Kanayak had an excellent response where he said, well, if something happens to you and your father spins the block and gets that get back for you, would you love him less? No, you wouldn't. That's your father looking out for you, right? Our people have a hard time understanding that everybody that's ever been got, the Most High did that, right? The Most High has prophecies out for you, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who are the Israelites, that every single nation that has done you wrong, and let's name the wrongs, because we love to talk about it in the marches, in the pro activist debates and whatever and what have you, poetry slams, whatever it is. We love to say, talk about our oppression, we using slaves and whatnot, but you really don't want to talk about it. Because to actually talk about it means to actually bring up the evil deeds and also the people who did those evil deeds, right? Christianity says that those people who have raped, robbed, murdered, took big, swole black men, tied them up to 4 different horses, covered them up in tar feathers, set them on fire, and then slapped the horse's ass to make every single other slave watch them be pulled apart, to take a man out of his shack, chain him to a floor, and make his children and his wife watch as the slave master enters that man forcibly, has a man go outside of his house and have to listen to his wife being raped, castrating children, feeding children to alligators, theft of a land, giving disease to people, taking children from reservations, forcing them into Catholicism in boarding schools, and physically and sexually abusing these people, taking children, taking them to borders and putting them in cages and separating them from their families and doing God knows what to them. And you think God's going to save these people, and at any time that you hear, oh, God's not going to do that, he's going to save you, you have a problem with it. Why? Because you hate God. You feel some type of way because you say, well, where was God when slavery happened? Where was God when George Floyd happened? Where was he when this, that, and the third? He was there whooping your Black, Hispanic, and Native ass. That's what he was doing. It's always, well, why did God do this to me? Why did he do this, that, and the third? What did you do to God? Let's try that, right? Just like, quote unquote, and it's not all of our sisters, it's not, but a lot of these so-called modern day women operating in modern day extreme feminism take what? No accountability. You Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you operate the same way. You take no accountability. It's always, why did God do this? But it's never, what did you do to God? Take some accountability, Black, Hispanic, and Native, man. If you can for me, Baba Kashah, get Romans 1 and start at 21. Because that's the conversation that need to be had. What did you do to God? Stop hating on God for your crimes, man. And we're going to read down to 30. Baba Kashah. Oh, you got a precept already?
Yeah, I got a precept.
Go ahead, hit it, man.
Galatians 6 verse 5. It says, for we are each responsible for our own conduct.
Wait. Read that again, Baba Kashah.
It says, for we are each responsible for our own conduct.
You see that? We need to hold each other accountable and hold ourselves accountable. Just because you have something bad happen to you, and I taught this lesson a couple months ago, the first thing that comes to your mind shouldn't be, well, why did God do this to me? What did I do wrong? I did something wrong along the way. I guarantee you, when you change your mindset about that, you're going to realize how wrong you really are, and you're going to realize how you got to get right real fast. But go ahead.
That was it on that.
Okay, Kai. Romans 1, it started at 21, Baba Kashah. We're going to read to 30. Our people need to get right in their head, man. We really do. I see why Nehemiah was doing the things he was doing. Okay, go ahead.
It says, wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanliness. Oh, wait, you said 21?
Start at 21, Baba Kasha.
Slovakia.
Yep,
Romans
21 to
1:21.
30.
It says, because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened.
That's certainly our people. We took what the Most High gave us for granted, but don't worry, we're going to read about that a little bit more. Go ahead.
Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools.
And, does not that individual who we was just going over, does he not think himself to be wise? Does not almost every Christian pastor, apologist, deacon, whatever they want to be, do they not consider themselves wise when really they are not? The Most High has made wise the foolish things of the earth, and they count, and these people in this earth count the Israelites as what? Foolish, when we are really the wise ones. Go ahead.
It says, verse 23, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like to corruptible man, and to birds, and four-footed beasts, and creeping things.
I think your mic went out.
Yo, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, now I can hear you.
I'm gonna read it again. It says, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like to corruptible man, and to birds, and four-footed beasts, and creeping things.
You see that? Keep going.
Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanliness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves.
You see that? You want the Most High said, all right, you want to keep playing, you want to be like these heathen, you want to go after your flesh and not after the spirit that I gave you, and you want to throw away the things that I gave you, and you want to be mad at me when you get punished because I keep my end of the deal. Okay, cool. Just like almost anybody know, when you out there running them streets, you come home, mom's is tired of it, dad is tired of it. What they tell you, you want to go be in the streets? Okay, you go live out there and see how they treat you. That's what the Most High did, man. And guess what? Y'all don't like it, do you? Y'all don't like how these other nations treat you. Y'all say slavery's bad. Y'all say that the way that we treated America is bad and the world is bad. You hate it. But you sure don't show that you hate it. You hate it for like 2 weeks. And then you're back to your regularly scheduled program. Shucking and jiving all over the place. And then when we bring it back up, well, yeah, I agree. I agree. Okay, well, we got a chance to get up out of here. You got to get right with God. Well, God didn't do this for me. What did you do to God? You want to go be these people? Cool. Go run them. Go run the earth and see how these nations treat you. Go ahead.
Another question you can ask, really honestly, a better question. What did you do for God?
Oh, even better. What? That's a two-part question. What did you do to God, and what have you done for God to even deserve a drop of anything that you want from him? Way better question.
Precept. It's a great precept. Trump, it's a good precept. It's a great precept. God. 2 Chronicles 15 verse 2, and he went out to meet Asa and said unto him, hear ye me, Asa, and all Judah and Benjamin, the Lord is with you while ye be with him, and if ye seek him, he will be found of you, but if ye forsake him, he will forsake you.
Oh, and what do you think you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have done? You forsaken the Most High, and now you salty about it. You expect him to do all the work and you not do anything? Now I know good and darn well that your parents taught you better than that. Y'all love to say that we gotta come together. Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives, we gotta come together. We gotta build together. We gotta put our finances. You say at that point we gotta come together. But when it comes to where it really counts, you forsake your brethren just like how you forsook the Most High God. But yet you expect that other person to do everything for you where you do nothing in return. It don't work like that, bucko. It don't.
You ready for Romans?
Con.
It says, who changed the verse 25, who changed the truth of God into a lie and worshiped and served the creature more than the creator, who is blessed forever. Amen.
Who turned the truth of God into a lie? We did. We wanted to be like these heathen nations. We accepted this doctrine. Even when we get told to our face that doctrine that we've done grown up into is a lie, we still want to stick to it. We still want to turn the truth of God into a lie. When we tell you that you are the best people, you are the chosen people, you are the Israelites, everything that you think that the Christian church is saying you, how salvation's for everyone when it's really for you, how God is going to ride on these ops just for you, how he's going to establish a kingdom and he's going to put his son as the ruling king just for you, to exalt you above all nations. Oh, no, if Becky can't come, then I don't want none. You tripping. You turning the truth of God into a lie. You're sitting and say, all we need to do is believe in Jesus. Jesus said, keep the law. Well, Paul said, keep the law. Well, that's just your interpretation. No, that's just you being special. And that is the best way that I can put it right now. You're being special, right? It's not a yellow bus. It's a yellow car that takes you to school, right? A yellow Prius that takes you to school. All right.
Hold up, man. That new Prius is spectacular.
I'm gonna pretend that didn't just happen.
Hey, man, they've been shooting me them ads ever since I got my new car. They've been shooting me them ads, man. I'm not gonna lie.
It's called targeted marketing.
hey, look. Well, they found the mark.
See what you do. You contact your finance company and you tell them to opt you out of such things, and they'll stop. Right?
Hey, man, 60 miles to the gallon. This economy is stupendous, right? But I wanted to make another point real quick. Actually, 2 points. The worst part about that, when they say is I don't want to come with y'all unless Becky can come with y'all. That it's crazy they will say something like that because they'll admit that they have advantages and bonuses and profits in this world just off of their skin, and we have disadvantages off of our skin and our nationality, right? They'll know all those things and still say that, which is meaning they're okay with white supremacy. You have to literally be okay with white supremacy to say that. That's bad. Like that's just like your mind's. That's why Yahushua said he came for the sick, right? Our people are damn near a terminal, like on stage 4 cancer. That's what our people are on right now. It's bad. But another point, real quick point. I'm gonna read Romans 1:25 again, and I want to bring a precept and make a point. It says Romans 1:25. It says, "Who changed the truth of God into a lie and worshiped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever." Amen. Right. So it says worship the creature more than the Creator. Now, this also goes into doctrines like Christ is God, or Christ has the type of deity which is equal or superior than the Father. Christians, what they do is they take Christ, right? They take the Messiah, Yahushua, right? Who they call Jesus. They take him, move God out of the way, make him to be God, and now worship him, even though Christ himself is a creation. And it says it in Colossians 1:15, who is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of every creature. So Christ himself is a creature or a created being. So when they move God out of the way, right, by not just in the basic sense, but also in the sense of his word, like his prophets and his law, when they move him out of the way and now exalt Christ under the guise of Paul, right, they end up worshiping the creature more than the Creator. And that in itself is problematic.
That's straight up facts. Straight up facts. And not only that, let's look at today. It's not just the Hamashiach. What else do they worship? They worship cars, sports, women, people. What they have this show in America and all over the world now called what? American Idol. They have you worshiping the creations of men as well as other men and women. There are people who worship dogs and other animals, and you want to follow these people. You want to be like these people. But yet at the same breath, you say, oh, I believe in God and na 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 na. And then when you get corrected, what's the first thing you want to say? Nuh-uh, not my Jesus. Your Jesus is made up in your head, ma'am and sir. You don't even, you got a Jesus piece. You don't even believe in Jesus. You believe in superstitious genies. That's what you believe in, right? Our people need to break that mindset. It's infuriating to see my people so dumbed down, and it's just ridiculous, right? Because where we at? We on 25 or 26?
26.
God, go ahead.
It says, for this cause God gave them up unto vile affections, for even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature.
You got the independent woman movement, which hates men, which is stemmed from feminism, and you have the alphabet gang enforcing their doctrine upon our children at very young, impressionable ages, to the point where now it is televised and celebrated if someone goes against what is natural procreation. And that is the most big worded way I could say it without saying it. So I hope I didn't lose you, right? That's what's celebrated here, man. Right? They even push this thing called in vitro fertilization, because it's to a point where a lot of women are not able to bear children. Don't you think that the food and the things and the chemicals that they expose you to, especially this thing called, birth control, wouldn't, try to stagnate your procreation process to the point where now you have to go to these scientists, from the Third Reich, in order to conceive a child in a test tube? It's not natural, man. There was a point in time where you would ask the Most High to open up that womb, and he would do it for you. But you got so much faith in your slave master that you have no faith in your father. Keep going.
I got a precept. Yeah, it's hold on, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, yeah. It's 2 Maccabees 4:15, not setting by the honors of their fathers, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all, by reason whereof sore calamity came upon them, for they had them to be their enemies and avengers, whose custom they followed so earnestly, and unto whom they desired to be like in all things. Like when our people, even back in the day, right before this time in Romans, they started following the ways of the white man, right? The Grecians, the white man, the Greco-Romans. We started following their ways, and now stuff started happening to us. Just like now, since we don't want to follow after our customs and our and glory of our fathers, right? You see in Sirach, I think it's Sirach 44 or 46, where it talks about we now praise the famous men, right? That's talking about our ancestors. Since we don't want to praise our ancestors and follow after how they did and how they acted and examples that they set forth, that's why the curses come upon us the way they do. And we see that happening here with homosexuality, because that's what's being talked about right here, where the women are going against nature. Where did they learn that from? Like you see things in Colossae, in Rome especially, Thessalonica, Ephesus. Their orgies were just happening there. Homosexuality was running rampant, and it's coming from a people who's a little bit less pigmented than us. Since we started following after their ways and choosing their ways over ours, what do we become? Homosexuals.
That part right there. Where are we at? 28?
Yeah, 28. It says, and even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which were not convenient.
And notice how almost every Christian that we speak to, they always say, "Well, I sin every day." Do you really think that's convenient for you? Do you really think that that's convenient for you? Or you're really proud to say, well, yeah, we're all sinners. I sin every day. When don't you sin? At which point do you not sit down and ask yourself, maybe I shouldn't sin today? I know God doesn't like sin. So why would I continue to do so? Because you're imbeciles, is what you are.
Verse 29, this is being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whispers, backbiters, right? Got a lot of those. Haters of God, despiteful.
Wait, they're Salakia, they're what of God?
Haters of God.
See. The entire Christian church community, understand this. Y'all are some haters of the Most High God. Y'all are some big haters. Go ahead.
Haters of God, right? I gotta get a precept. I gotta get a quick precept, man.
God.
Shout out to the SICARRI New York camp for actually bringing this out. Let's see.
That's right.
You say, oh yeah. See, the young cats, man. They bring a tear to my eye, man. You remember that? See, y'all young cats, man. Y'all young cats out there. Y'all bring a tear to my eye, man.
Hey, look, if you don't know, unfortunately, you're just not gonna know. You had to be there, man.
Gonna know. Oh my God.
You had to be in the know, bro.
Where is this at? They pulled out of the GNT. Oh, bro, I think I gotta let me get into GNT. Since BLB doesn't want to have the GNT in it.
It's because the GNT is too gangster.
Right. Okay, this is 1 John 5:3, and the GNT, it says, for the love of God means that we obey his commandments. And the Christian church, they hate his commandments, right? So that makes them haters of God. And it says, and his commands are not too hard for us. That is cold. I wish the KJV said that. It literally says the commandments are not too hard for us.
You see? Y'all bust your back and work hard to get a bag, but you won't do a thing for salvation that you say that you're gonna get. And it's like I be telling people, like, look, because I have family members who were crack addicts and things like that, right? You mean to tell me that, like look, when you got a drug addict in your family, you help them out every so often. It gets to a point where you get tired of it because they keep doing the same thing. So at one point, you stop helping them. Until what? Until they get right on their own. And then they ask you for help. And because they have gotten themselves better, actually put forth effort, now you're more inclined to assist them. It's the same thing. All of you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives, y'all are a bunch of sick, distraught, out of your mind drug addicts hooked on Christianity and Americanism, and you keep asking the Most High for some help so you can go get your fix in America instead of getting yourself right so you can come back into the house. Despicable. God, we at 29. Let's go ahead and finish. Did we finish 30?
No, we didn't finish 30.
Okay.
You said back, just bite my back, man.
Yeah, man. There's some backbiters. There's some backbiters. Yo, what a backbiter is? That's a gossiper talking behind your back, backbiting, talking all that hot mess. Them Twitter fingers. You tell that one friend something, and then they go tell their other friends sipping on that tea. All that, man. Our people are a bunch of backbiters out here, man.
Right, ever since Chief, I think it was on the last live, Chief was talking about backbiters, and like just the way he said it, it's like, man, next time that happened to me, I was like, oh God, he just biting my back, man. Just biting my back. So why you tell him that, man? You gotta tell him that. I be trying to read it like I be trying to read the Bible like an Israelite, man. Just thinking about like like what words mean and how what Paul is trying to convey. It's like but I'm reading verse 30. It's backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents.
Look at that. Look, let's check it. Despiteful. You can't tell me that these people are not despiteful towards the Most High when they really try to treat him like a genie, right? Inventors of evil things. Our people will invent some of the most wicked things in the world, right? Like the BET Music Awards used to be one of the most celebrated things in the Black community when I was growing up. It was like our very own Super Bowl, right? Great performances, great awards. It was awesome. And now you got people like GORRILLA and Ugly Red doing their performances and thinking that it's cool. We went from being classy to I'm gonna just say it. It's scary hours. I'm gonna just say it. To being a bunch of hoes shaking your ass everywhere. Look, as much as I love our women, I love how the Most High build our women. It's great. Y'all look gorgeous. I am tired of seeing you shake your goddamn ass. I'm sick of it. And you wonder why more than half of y'all alone. Why more than half of y'all got kids and that baby's father is not there. Because y'all want to be out there acting like some goddamn hoes. Real men don't want no hoes out here shaking it for everybody to see. There was a bar way back in the day, right? I was growing up. Yachty was growing up. He might remember this. I don't know if they had this in Temple, Texas, where Jews don't go to Temple but live in Temple, right? I don't even think they had this in Demona. They don't got a lot of things in Demona, right? But there was this great bar, right? And the bar went like this. I want a lady in the streets, meaning she represents her man with class when they are outside of that home. But a freak where? In the sheets, meaning when she wants to do all that extra stuff, she does it in the confines of our home. Now it's just a freak out in the streets and nothing everywhere. It's a double freak. That's all it is. Where are the ladies at, man? Where are the classy sisters? We all know this, all the sisters in the truth, right? We need to bring them classy women back, right? Do you have anything?
Nah.
Okay, calm. Look at that. Disobedient to parents. Look, Yachty knows he was there. There was a time where we was at camp. Shout out to Battle Axes out in Dallas, man. Shout out to them brothers, man. All right. And if y'all didn't see it, there was a Christian pastor that they dealt with last Saturday. I chopped it up. This man brought his whole family out. They did it on their live. You look forward to seeing that on YouTube. I'm pretty sure they destroyed them, right? But I digress. Right? We was out there, we was teaching. I look across the railway, I see this brother in a blue head. I say, "Hey, brother, how you doing?" And he returns with animosity and disrespect. And then, he hops over, just the most disrespectful little 16-year-old ever. The only thing that I could think of, the only thing that I wanted to do was to reach in my backpack and grab a leather belt and whoop some sense into this boy because somebody was not doing it. I'm not talking about throwing hands. I'm talking straight up ass whoopings. The kind that make you reach for your back and you can't make a sound because it hurt too much. Them kind of ass whoopings, right? A lot of these children out here need this, man. Right? They need them whippings. I need them whoopings to come back into full effect, right? But let's go ahead and move forward. Get Psalms 22, and we're gonna read verses 1 through 2. Baba Kasha. Right? Because see, these are people, man, as disturbing as they are. They try to ask for help, but they act the way they act, and then they have this type of mentality, right? Go ahead.
This is, you said Psalms 22, right?
22 verses 1 through 2.
Yeah, Psalms 22. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? Why art thou so far from helping me and from the words of my roaring?
You know what that sounds like? Now, granted, that's not the full context of this chapter. It's a beautiful chapter. But our people do say these things, right? Especially when they make that deathbed confession or that deathbed prayer. Like, oh God, or something bad happened. Why, God? Why you let me get in an accident, God? Oh, why, God? Why she cheat on me, God? Why I lose my job, God? Why can't I do that? Why, God? What did you do to God? What did you do? Right? And you really wonder why he's not assisting you. But when something good happens to you, you all about praising the Lord then. Something bad happened to you, where's the praise for the Most High? Job praised the Most High when something bad happened to him and something good happened to you, right? But you don't like that example of Job because all you know is the New Testament, right? But keep going.
I got a precept.
Come on, go ahead.
Well, I can read verse 2 and then we can bring it out. It says Psalms 22 verse 2. Oh my God, I cry in the daytime, but thou hearest not, and in the night season, am and not silent.
You see that? Y'all crying and groping and crying during the day. But you feel upset because the Most High didn't answer your prayer, or it's the same question. Well, where was God during slavery? Where is God during Jim Crow? Where is God during the civil rights movement? Where is God when George Floyd happened? When was this, that, and the third? Where was God then? Where was God when Tukey and Rayway was shooting it out, and then Lil Niecy got popped with a straight bullet? Where was the Most High God when I was doing that deal, and then I spun the block real quick, and then I got stopped by the police and got arrested? He was there doing all that to you because you want to be disobedient and treat him like a genie. He's not your personal genie, man. The Most High don't owe you a goddamn thing. You owe him everything, and he owes you nothing. Go ahead.
I got a precept. It's quite a long one, but all of it is imperative, right? Proverbs 1 in the GNT, verse 22. Foolish people, how long do you want to be foolish? How long will you enjoy making fun of knowledge? Will you never learn?
Will you? Will you ever learn? Y'all just want to be foolish all the live long day, man. Right? Every time one of our sisters sees a camera, she wants to put her face in it and bend over and shake ass. Every time our people want to be out and about, they don't got no time to actually build and chop it up with their brothers, but they got all the time in the world to go chase after hoes, to go party. And yet you won't be the same people that be on Instagram and Facebook. Man, black people need to come together, man. We got to come together. We got to build our own, this, that, and the third. But yet at the same time, out in public, when one of your own says, hey, brother, come chop it up with me real quick. Oh, I got things to do, brother. I got to go chase these women. I gotta go to the club. I gotta go get arrested later. I gotta do this thing, right? Our people are foolish. Well, go ahead with your precept.
It says, listen when I reprimand you. I will give you good advice and share my knowledge with you. I have been calling you, inviting you to come, but you would not listen. You paid no attention to me. You have ignored all my advice and have not been willing to let me correct you.
Ooh, you see that? That is our people to a T. You can't tell me that the Bible ain't real, man. You cannot tell me that, because even when we try to softly correct our people, they for some reason they just can't do it. That devil that's on them just overtake them, and they lose the fight every time, man. Sad. Go ahead.
So when you get verse 26. So when you get into trouble, I will laugh at you. I will make fun of you when terror strikes, when it comes on you like a storm, bringing fierce winds of trouble, and you are in pain and misery. And then it says, I'm reading 28, then you can break it down. It says, then you will call for wisdom, but I will not answer. You may look for me everywhere, but you will not find me.
You see that? In your distress, that's when you want to call on God. And you want to get mad at him when he don't answer you. Again, what did you do to piss the Most High off? You want to ask like, oh God, help me through this. I'll never do it again. You turn around and you do it again. You asking for the Most High to show you things, to deliver you out of situations, but you don't want to make yourself better to be in those positions. It's backwards thinking. It don't work that way.
Yeah, I'm gonna read 29 to 31 as you break it down. It says, "You have never had any use for knowledge and have always refused to obey the Lord. You have never wanted my advice or paid any attention when I corrected you. So then you will get what you deserve, and your own actions will make you sick."
Ooh. Hold on. Look, our people definitely believe that they are beyond correction, right? They'll come up with every excuse to make it seem like they're the golden child. But yet at the same time, they get tired of being in the same situation. They sick of it. They tired of it. But they don't do anything to actually make their situation better. They want to call on God to make it better. But what have you done to deserve him to assist you in making it better? You don't want to listen to him when he's trying to correct you, because that correction is probably what's going to make your situation better. Man, I'm tired. I'm tired of the police, on me. I'm tired of, being investigated, for dealing on these drugs and killing. Okay, well, stop doing these things. Nah, I can't do that. I gotta get this money. Man, I'm tired of dudes always looking at me as some type of, sexual desire thing, this, that, and the third. Okay, cancel your OnlyFans, get off the pole and stop being a hoe. No, I can't do that. I got to get my money. You do realize that you are the reason for your own pain and suffering, right? You do realize that the reason your forehead hurt is because you keep banging it on the wall. But you want to ask God to take the pain away. Well, stop banging your head on the wall. But I like it. Ridiculousness, man. Is that it on that?
Nah, there's just 2 verses left. Inexperienced people die because they reject wisdom. Stupid people are destroyed by their own lack of concern, but whoever listens to me will have security. He will be safe with no reason to be afraid.
And you want to know why? Because they have that hedge of protection. And why do they have that hedge of protection? Because they obey God. Point blank, period. Because they listen and love and understand how to love the Most High, they get that hedge of protection. But you simpletons are literally your own destruction, man.
I got one more quick one.
Go ahead.
Isaiah 29:13 GNT. The Lord said, "These people claim to worship me, but their words are meaningless and their hearts are somewhere else. Their religion is nothing but human rules and traditions which they have simply memorized."
Man, that's one of my favorite verses, but to hear it in the GNT, boy, boy. Hey, look, I don't want to call the GNT the Good News Translation. I'm gonna call it the Gangster Network translation. All right, because look, it makes it so plain upon tables. Our people are so stuck in their ways. Again, they want to follow the creature rather than the creator. They want to follow the rules that are set by their slave masters, and all they do is memorize them. It's not hard to memorize.
The next verse, though.
Go ahead.
So I will startle them with one unexpected blow after another. Those who are wise will turn out to be fools, and all their cleverness will be useless.
And you know who that's really gonna hit? For all you so-called, and if you ever see this channel, you know who you are. For anybody that's ever gone up to an Israelite camp and say, "Man, y'all just mad because you ain't getting no money. What's your finances like? This, that, and the third." Anything to bring up money. That is, look, it takes everything in me to not, give an open palm of sense right across to your dome. Slap some sense into you when people say that, because you think yourself clever in this place. You think you got America figured out. Guess what? The only thing you figured out is how to die next to your slave master. That's it. So what you think is wise in this place is going to make you out to be a fool, and everything that you think is going to help you in that day, right? You're going to find to be useless, and you're going to wish that you listened to the men of the Lord, or rather you would have wished that you listened to the Most High God, who sent his men out to tell you what was coming. But in that day, it's going to be useless to you. Con, that's it on that?
Yeah, that's it.
Con, get Proverbs 6, and we're going to start at 16 and read to 19. Baba Kushah.
All right, Proverbs 6:6. Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise.
No, 6 and 16. 6 and 16
Oh,
to 19.
my bad.
No, you good. You good. If you haven't read Proverbs 6, go ahead and do it. I highly recommend it. It's a great chapter and a very great book.
Yeah, Proverbs 6:16. These 6 things doth the Lord hate. Yea, 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look.
So for anyone,
so
for anyone that tries to say, well, God doesn't hate, are you sure about that? He clearly said there's 6 things that he hates, 7 things that he finds abominable. Are you sure he doesn't hate? I think he hates. What do you think, y'all? Do you think the Most High God hates? I think he hates.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's pretty plain, plain upon tables. But let's see the things that he hates.
A proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, a heart,
and there are niggas. There are niggas, Hispanics, and natives who find it proud when they killed their own, and they gotta look. Yeah, I got that nigga. Yeah, we rolled on that nigga. Yeah. Or when it sits like, I'm gonna get that nigga arrested. Yep, I'm gonna put this makeup on. I'm gonna make it look like he hit me. I'm gonna call my cousin. He's either gonna die. He gonna go to jail. This, that, and the third. A lying tongue, a proud look. Our people need to stop being so goddamn evil. Go ahead in verse 17.
What's 18 now?
Oh, sorry, verse 18.
My bad. And a heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, feet that be swift in running to mischief.
Man, hold on. Hold on. And heart that deviseth wicked imaginations. Wicked things to do. I'm gonna wake up and smoke me a blunt in the morning, or them sisters that be getting up early in the morning and making them OnlyFans and whatnot, right? Thinking of way to scheme on a man. Men scheming ways to get over their own brothers, over their own sisters, right? Using each other. The first thing you want to do is something evil and mischievous.
Hold up.
Go ahead.
Or these, it ain't even always got to be. It's like immediately physical. Scheming on the internet.
True.
Right. Getting on Facebook and live, and then spreading rumors about people. Right. Being a backbiter. Right. Just biting another sister's back off, man. It's so many times I get on the internet, whether it be Facebook, IG, Twitter, TikTok. We supposed to be in the truth, and here you are on live on various social medias, just biting the sister's back off, bro. And what be funny, the same women who be doing that end up getting caught up later down the line.
That part right there, man. Doing mischievous things, man. Right? But go ahead.
A false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. I'm about to grab some water.
Hey, look, you. How many people get caught up behind going to jail or getting killed behind gossip? Saying, I saw him. He was doing this, that, and the third. Yeah, what was that? It was a skit on one of Future's albums. We getting paid to snitch now. I guarantee you a lot of them lying. I guarantee, and I stand by it in my Denzel Washington voice, man. right? Or you got people say, "Hey, man, I heard that so and so said something about so and so, man." Or, "Hey, man, I heard he was, running around with Trey Girl and this, that, and the third, man." Getting people caught up, starting rumors, right? Finding ways for people to argue. Christians love to do this. They love to try to say something to get people to, or not to get people, to get Israelites to bicker and argue and even fight with one another, man. We can't be like this. We can't act like this, man. And these are the things that the Most High hates. But our people act just like this. Our people commit the 6 things that the Lord hates, right? We can't do this. We can't operate like this. You can't sit here and say, "Oh, I believe in God," and you act like this. It's no. It's a no go. You should not be doing such things. Our people need to come out of this wretched mindset that America has put on them, man. Right? We can't. You don't have a problem with the men that try to tell you right. You have a problem with God. And whatever your problem is, you need to look yourself in the mirror and you need to seriously ask yourself, what did I do to God? And what have I done for God? Before you even think about asking God to do something for you. Because again, he don't owe you nothing, but you owe him everything. You got a precept?
Nah.
God, I'll get those. You got 3 more. Get Ezekiel 16 and start at 1, Baba Shah.
All right, Ezekiel 16, verse 1. Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abominations.
God, let's have Israel understand the things that they have done. Go ahead.
And say, Thus saith the Lord God of Jerusalem, thy birth and thy nativity is in the land of Canaan. Thy father was an Amorite, and thy mother an Hittite.
You see, they're talking about, you know what I'm saying, our elders when they got to the land of Canaan and we established where we was going to be living at. Go ahead.
And as for thy nativity, in the day that thou was born, thy navel was not cut, neither was thou washed in water to supple thee. Thou was not salted at all, nor swaddled at all.
So when we became a nation, there was no one there to cuddle us and guide us into being a nation, man. Go ahead.
Verse 5: None I pitied thee to do any of these unto thee, to have compassion upon thee, but thou wast cast out in the open field to the loathing of thy person in the day that thou was born.
What was we going through? We was going through what? That slavery, that captivity where? In Egypt, man. We was going through it. We was a whole nation of people in another nation's land, and we being treated like absolute shit. Keep going.
Verse 6: And when I passed by thee and saw thee polluted in thine own blood, I said unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood, live. Yea, I say unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood, live.
Go on.
I have caused thee to multiply as the bud of the field, and thou hast increased and waxen great, and thou art come to excellent ornaments. Thy breasts are fashioned, and thy hair is grown, whereas thou was naked and bare.
You see that? The Most High, he took us, and then he began to wash that blood off, to care for us, and to help us grow. Keep going.
Verse 8: Now when I passed by thee and looked upon thee, behold, thy time was the time of love, and I spread my skirt over thee and clothed thy nakedness. I swear unto thee and entered into a covenant with thee, saith the Lord God, and thou becamest mine.
That's talking about when we went into a covenant with him. He covered us. He said, I will be your God, and you will be my people. If you keep my commandments, I will bless you above all nations. If you break my commandments, I will curse you. What do you think we chose, man? Right? He didn't have to do. He didn't have to get us out of Egypt. He didn't have to choose us to make us a great nation. He didn't have to choose us to be his special people, but he did it. He didn't have to say, you know what? This is going to be the children of Abraham that I'm going to choose for myself to give the Nile and the Euphrates. But he did that. We keep going.
It says, whoa. Okay. Then I washed thee with water. Yea, I thoroughly washed away thy blood from thee, and I anointed thee with oil. I clothed thee also with embroidered work, and shod thee with badger skin, and I girded thee about with fine linen, and I covered thee with silk. I decked
He gave
thee
us
also
the finer things of life. Salaki. He gave us the finer things of life, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Go ahead.
I decked thee also with ornaments, and I put bracelets upon thy hands, and a chain on thy neck, and I put a jewel on thy forehead, and earrings in thine ears, and a beautiful crown upon thy head.
He gave us beautiful things, and he made us look good. He gave us the richest things of the earth, right? He turned us into a mighty nation, right? A nation that other nations would envy. Keep going.
Thou was decked with gold and silver, and thy raiment was of fine linen and silk and broidered work. Thou didst eat fine flour and honey and oil, and thou was exceedingly beautiful, and thou didst prosper into a kingdom. And thy renown went forth among the heathen for thy beauty, for it was perfect through my comeliness, which I had put upon thee, saith the Lord.
You see that? Now hold on, wait, real quick. He did all this for us, right? That's what our people really need to understand and get through their thick skulls. You mad at the man who killed Pharaoh, his army, the firstborn of every creature in Egypt, committed these mighty works, said, I will be your God and you will be my people. I will give you the Nile to the Euphrates. You're going to have the most fertile land with the best food, the best precious metals. I'm going to give you the best clothes, the best jewelry. You're going to have the most wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And all these heathen are going to envy you, and they're going to hear about you, and they're going to hear about you and your mighty power that is your God. But what do we do? Read verse 15.
But thou didst trust in thine own beauty, and playedst a harlot because of thy renown, and pouredst out thy fornications on everyone that passed by. His it was.
You see that? Everything that he gave us, we got big-headed with it. Just like how we do now. Oh my God, I went from broke to having money. Now I got this big head. I'm the shit. I did that. I'm the one that did. Who remembers Coach Carter, man? Who remembers Coach Carter when he was trying to teach his players how to be humble? Because they were so excited. Yeah, I made that, Jay. I did that free throw. He's like, yeah, I did that. I made that play. Look at that. I just tied my shoe. Look at that. Look at that now right there. I did that. There's no good in boasting. You blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you would have nothing to boast about if the Most High didn't give you the gifts that you have. You would have absolutely nothing to boast about, right?
You see what happened to Nebuchadnezzar when he did it, and Daniel.
That part. He had all that. And what happened? He turned him into a beast of the field, made him look stupid, right? And then not only that, and just like it says in 15, and playedst the harlot. How do our people play harlots? How do you play a hoe to the Most High? when you go after these other nations and their idols, and you go and you worship and be like those other heathen, you're being a whore to the Most High. When all you had to do was be a good wife and do what you were told, but you wanted to be a whore towards him, right? And you want to give your fornications to all these other nations. Our people want to be like the Edomites. They want to be like the Amorites. They want to be like the Moabites. They want to be like goddamn Ishmael. They want to be like the East and Southern African. They want to be like the Russian. They want to be like the Indonesian. They want to somehow find the conspiracy theory and move all the way up to freaking Greenland and fake like they really rich like that. Our people want to be everything that they are except for what the Most High told them to be. He gave us everything. Everything. Took us out of a situation which would have ended in our death. But he took us and gave us everything to prepare us to be the greatest kingdom on the earth. But we want to roll around like pigs in the mud with all the rest of the dirt and feces. Go ahead.
This is Ezekiel 20, verse 30 in the GNT. Now tell the Israelites what I'm saying. Why must you commit the same sins your ancestors did and go running after their idols? Even today, you offer the same gifts and defile yourselves with the same idols by sacrificing your children to them in the fire. And then you Israelites still come to ask what my will is? As surely as I, the sovereign Lord, am the living God, I will not let you ask me anything. You have made up your own mind, or you made up your mind that you want to be like the other nations, like the people who live in the other countries and worship trees and rocks, but that will never be.
Our people to a T, man.
That's so cold. Because he's saying like you want to like if you pair that with what we just read in Ezekiel 16, the Lord gave us all these things, and the other nations are jealous of that. But we said no, I want to continue to worship their stuff and be like them. But it says we will never be them. We'll never get to worship their gods and be prosperous. We worship their gods, we're gonna be cursed, we're gonna be destroyed, we're gonna be nothing. So no matter how hard we want to be, no matter how hard we try to be like the rest of the nations, God said that'll never be.
That part, man. Like you can't do that, man. No matter, just like how I'll be telling brothers and sisters who are part of that blue line wall, right? Them police officers, them slave catchers. No matter how shiny your badge is, no matter how blue your uniform is, no matter how great you are, guess what? You will never be one of them white cops. Perfect case in point. Them officers from Memphis that beat that brother to death. They didn't get that vacation. They got fired immediately. They got charged immediately. You not going to be them. You're going to be treated exactly like you are, which is a black, Hispanic, or native. You're not getting treated like these people, man. Right? There's more on that precept. That was it in Ezekiel. If you didn't have anything else in that other precept.
No, I didn't have nothing else.
Con, get Matthew 4 and start at verse 8.
Hold up. What is this? Ramali Tucker. Yes, we do really keep the commandments because Christ kept the commandments and we're Christians.
Yes, indeed. We do indeed keep the commandments, right? The question is, do you keep the commandments? I would hope so. It is for your benefit, and guess what? They're not hard. They're fairly easy, right? Matter of fact, chat.
Let's bring it back out.
Let's bring it back out. And also, while he's getting that precept again, chat. If you keep the commandments, put a 1 in the chat. Baba Kusha. If you keep the commandments, put it in the chat.
While he's doing that, 1 John 5 and 3 GNT. For our love for God means that we obey his commands, and his commands are not too hard for us. They're not too hard for us.
They're not too hard. They're not too hard at all. And I saw him. Hold on. What else? What else? He put something else. Hold on.
He said, "Do y'all love Edom?" I love
we-
what my God loves, and I hate what my God hates. He hates Edom, so I hate Edom.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I mean, why wouldn't I hate my enemy? I asked the brother this also Friday, right? Let's be logical. If someone kidnaps your mother, kills your father, rapes your sister, beheads and castrates your little brother, are you going to love them? I'll wait. I will wait. Would you? You got a precept for old buddy?
Yeah, like Romans 2:18, it says, "And knowest his will, and approvest the things that are more excellent, being instructed out of the law." The law says I can put what's it called, usury on a heathen. The law says I can have my bondmen of the heathen. The law says I can't rule over rigor over my people, but I can do it over a heathen. The law says I can't eat roadkill or something strangled, right? I can't eat that, but I can give it to a heathen. So do I have to show that same brotherly love to an Edomite? No, that's not what that says. That's not what that is. This guy
Definitely
says
not what that is.
Deuteronomy 23.
Here
Deuteronomy
we
23.
go. I knew it. I knew this is exactly where
I knew it was. It's like it's the Christian, not really Christian. It's the Hebrew Israelite John 3:16. Let's go into that. Let's talk about the laws.
Man, right? But you know, we got time. We got time today.
We got a little bit of time. Right?
We got time today.
We got a little bit of time. You know,
I want to ask this person what the context is of that chapter. We'll get there though.
We're really gonna have to. Like, it would really kind of be irrelevant too, because we're gonna have to bring it out to we're gonna have to bring out the context to even answer the question.
That is true.
So the context of this is persons who are excluded from the assembly. What is this assembly? This assembly is temple worship. Just like when you see right here, it says verse 2, a bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord, even unto his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord. An Ammonite or a Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. And it keeps talking about congregation of the Lord all the way till we get here, right? Now, when we get to verse 7, it says, thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou wast a stranger in his land. They always stop at verse 7, conveniently, right? Now, they say abhor. So see, it says you can't hate a heathen. Or not heathen. You can't hate the Edomites. But it's not talking about specifically the person. It's talking about their sacrifices. And we're going to prove it. Because it says in verse 8, the children that are begotten of them shall enter into the congregation of the Lord in their 3rd generation. Right? The whole context of Deuteronomy 23 is the assembly, the congregation. What is the congregation? Let's see what that is. Right? I always find it hilarious when people just try to pull this out. They have no idea what's going. They have no idea what's going on in Deuteronomy 23, right? Lamentation 1 verse 10. It says the adversary have spread out his hand upon all her pleasant things, for she has seen that the heathen have entered into her sanctuary. What's the sanctuary? The temple, whom thou didst command that they should not enter into thy congregation. That's the assembly. That's the temple worship. That's what's going on right here, right? So when you go back into Deuteronomy, the 23rd chapter, verse 7, right, it says, thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou wast a stranger in his land. The children that are begotten of them shall enter into the congregation. What? For temple worship of the Lord and their 3rd generation. This has nothing to do with, I don't like these people. That has nothing to do with that. It's called reading in context. Like, nice try. That's why you had to now repackage your argument to where didn't it say Jesus said to love you? Did Jesus say to hate your enemies? That's why you had to now repackage that, because you saw that uppercut coming. And Christ told us to hate our enemies. You know why? You know, and what I mean about enemies, I'm talking about the other nations. You know why that is? Because of Matthew chapter 6. Let's
That
read it.
part.
Let's read it, right? Matthew chapter 6, verse 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth, in earth as it is in heaven. The kingdom coming to the earth is us ruling over our oppressors. Literally. That's Isaiah 14, verse 1 through 2, and Isaiah 14 and 21. Them getting paid back for what they've done to us. That's the kingdom coming. That's talking about rulership, right? That's the answer to your question that you just asked, trying to be a smart ass in the chat, right? Or it says, give me a scripture where Jesus said to hate your enemies. This one, right? This one. We're praying for our kingdom to come. Who's like at this time, who's in rulership right now? Rome. So if we're praying for our kingdom to come, we're praying for our enemies, the Romans at this time, or even the Romans at our time now, because we live in Babylon the Great, which is the revised Roman Empire, right? Since we live in that, if we're praying after this manner, like how Christ said, we're praying for our rulership to come, for our kingdom to come. So yes, that's what he's saying right here. Nice try, bro. Like you gotta like people gotta. I can't believe how far people will go to lie on their scriptures, to try to save the white man. Because you see how David, bro. David, I'm glad he's such a Judite. He's the type of Judite we needed, right? Even though he messed up a little bit.
Hey man, look,
right?
King David was the man after the Most High's own heart. Just saying.
That part, right? And it says, wait, hold it real fast. Psalms 147, verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. So he's praising the Lord that they don't even know this stuff, that they don't, that this was never given to them, right? That's what he's doing. That's the type of mindset and spirit that we're on. This is a man after the Lord's heart, right? It's crazy. Like it's crazy. Look, here you go. You repackage it again. It's not about skin color. Of course, it's not. Right? It's not. That was never
anything about it.
That was and the only reason he's doing that, right? The only reason he's doing that is because he now has to repackage. You got beat up in Deuteronomy chapter 23 as soon as it was brought out. Then you had to repackage it to what does abhor mean? That got beat up. Did Jesus say hate your enemies? Christ said pray for your rulership to come to where you rule over your enemies. So what's the difference? That's crazy. Like
he said it's about the blood of Christ. See, you're just going all over the place. But I'm gonna tell you what you're doing. You know how a lot of times, Yadi, when we're on the streets and we're teaching and we're going into something, and then out of nowhere we get a perfect example of what we are talking about when it comes to either heathen or our people. We was talking about how our people really hate the Most High God.
Mm-hmm.
And what is he showing? Instead, because that picture, let me pull it up. I'm gonna just pull this up, right? He said you brought up white people. No, you brought up Edomites, sir.
We never did it.
I see a so-called, a black man like a Tay Diggs if he actually had a beard, and two so-called black children. We're talking about how blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, whom are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of, have animosity, enmity, beef, and hatred towards the Most High when they're being corrected and trying to get told about themselves and how to really love and follow the Most High and how to actually follow who the world, and he calls Christ, real name Yahweh Shai, right? And them not doing what he's doing. That is you, sir. Ramal Tucker. I don't even know how to pronounce Ramali. Tamale. I had a chicken tamale today. All right. Look.
And what's funny about the thing, hold on with that thing. What's funny about the thing is, like, I know as soon as you started posting, I remember this man because I saw on Reggie's channel he was trying to mess with Reggie, and I got on there. I said, we can invite you on the channel, right? You know how people do. And said, yeah, I'll join. I'll get on there. I'll have a conversation with you. And then what happens is you stop hearing from him. And now when we're live, now he wants to try to say something and get beat up in every point that he said, right?
How are we hypocrites, sir?
I'll prove this. Prove this, Ramali. Prove it. Just hold on without this. Just in your next comment, right? Just tell us how we're hypocrites. Just explain that. Elaborate on that. You never sent an email because I watched that thing like a hawk. No, you didn't. Don't lie.
That's a fact. He does. I've seen him do it. I've seen him do it. Matter of fact, let's get Matthew 4:10 because that's exactly what that's a perfect precept for this guy. He's concerned because he's the one that brought up Edom. He brought up Deuteronomy 23:7. We weren't even talking about the heathen. We were talking about our people exclusively, right? You're the one that's trying to say, well, basically, because I can tell what you're doing right now. You're trying to say that everyone can be saved. We should love Edomites, this, that, and the third. I'm going to show you exactly what you're doing. Matthew 4 and verse, start at verse 8, Baba Kasha.
Matthew 4 and verse 8.
God. And we're going to read into 10. It's like, we're going to read into 9. Go ahead.
Matthew 4 verse 8, it says, again, the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them. And said, oh, you done right there?
No, go ahead.
And said unto him, all these things will I give thee if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Then said Yahweh Shai unto him, get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve.
Now, can you tell me what's being quoted for verse 10? And while you're doing that, Romel, understand this. The white man, the deceiver, the Edomite, because it's the word devil just simply means deceiver. The deceiver has then shown you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans the world of America. You be an American, you can be on welfare, you can get a job, get an education, you can work for me, be a full-time slave, never have to question about it, work until you're 65, and then live off of these things, right? And then I'm going to teach you about this man whose real name is Cesare Borgia, who we're going to call Jesus Christ, and you're going to worship him, and you're going to believe that he died for your sins and that everybody can be saved, including the pedophile, including the rapist, and all the evil people of the nations of the earth. They're all covered in the blood of that Jesus Christ, and they all can be saved. And anybody who's a so-called Israelite and they tell you different, they're wrong. That's what you're into, Romal Tucker. You took the bait. The devil told you to fall down and worship him because he showed you the world. And what are you doing? You're bowing down and you are worshiping the devil because you are so obsessed with everybody else instead of actually listening to what it is that we're teaching. And if you believe you're an Israelite, then all praises. If not, guess what? If you're a so-called black, Hispanic, and Native, you are an Israelite. This concerns you and your well-being. Why in the hell are we bringing up another nation? We haven't brought up not one of the other nations this entire time. We've been talking exclusively about blacks, Hispanics, and natives, but here you go wanting to derail the whole thing so you can get your 15 minutes of fame. How about this?
Matter of fact, he can get here. Well, I'm gonna close this one off. We can start another. We can work him out right now. He can work out right now. Hold on. Let me do this real fast. Let me provide
the link.
This
fresh link in the chat. And real quick, if at all possible, Baba Kasha, I do have one more precept. It's just Malachi 1. While we waiting on this guy, I have a feeling it's gonna take.
Hold on, we gotta get on this other one. He got the link. But watch this, right? I'm gonna say this, right? Call halal Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai and Shalom.
Shalom.